All right, everybody, what's up? It's Thursday night. We are about 40 minutes away from kickoff here, and we're here to answer your questions on fantasy football today. Thanks so much for being with us. Adam Azer with Jacob Gibbs. Oh, welcome, Jacob. Your first Thursday night stream of the year. What's up?
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm psyched to be here. It's always good to change things up. Don't have to record with Dan, so that's always a plus.
Oh, it's always great. Yeah, and I'm glad no dirty dishes in the sink.
That's right. We're on top of things.
And Dave Richard is here too. What's up, Dave?
I don't have something cool in my background like a kitchen.
You have something cool. Those are cool.
I've got some cool stuff in my background, but not a kitchen.
Not a kitchen.
Like Jacob could probably just like reach over and get himself some frozen yogurt.
It's nice.
Like I would have to walk about 20 feet to get my frozen yogurt. And I didn't even do it. Such a loser.
Well, anyway, we welcome you, and please tell your friends to hop on and ask us questions. And here we go. Dotson or Addison? Half PPR.
Addison for me.
Yeah, definitely Addison for me. I tweeted this out. Addison has an 80% route involvement rate when playing from behind compared to 58% when tied or leading. So I think game script sets up much more favorably for him in this.
Did you notice last week how he didn't play very much? Only had one target, no catches. Do you think that I obviously that's a byproduct of the Vikings building a lead and being able to run the ball? It's the first time all year they were able to do it. But you saw Osborne play more, and I think they use more two tight end sets.
Right.
I wonder if that's a signal that they view Addison like a number 3 receiver. Not necessarily meaning that he's third on the pecking order among wide receivers and targets, just in playing time.
Yep, that's where he's at right now. But playing from behind against the Chiefs sets up great for him.
Should be.
Very presumptuous there.
He's in the flex category.
The Vikings only had the ball for 21 minutes and 31 seconds in week 4. All right, let's see what else we got. I saw Justin Fields. Fields or Russell Wilson this week?
I'm going back to Fields.
I'm going back to Fields too. I did some research on Russell Wilson today that made me drop him about 10 spots in my rankings.
10 spots. Wow.
10 spots in my rankings.
I don't think he's that good. I feel like every time I'm on the show, I have to make this case against him because, we just cannot treat Russell Wilson like a must start, in my opinion. What did you find?
I found that the matchup is particularly difficult for the tendencies that Russell Wilson has. Russell Wilson leans heavily on his outside receivers. He likes to throw it deep. And when he does, he's usually successful. But those are two things the Jets are outstanding at taking away. Moreover, they're one of the rare teams in this league, and certainly in the AFC, that can put pressure on opposing quarterbacks with just 4 rushers, meaning they don't have to blitz a lot, and they still get a lot of pressure. And if you look at Russell Wilson's season-long numbers, they're actually pretty good against pressure, but a lot of that's weighted down by what he did in week 1 against the Raiders. Weeks 2, 3, and 4, Commanders, Dolphins, and then the stinking Bears. He struggled. He did not do great with pressure. So my guess is that he's going to see a lot of pressure, and when he throws, he's not going to be able to succeed deep, and he won't be able to hit the outside. It's going to be a dink and dunk type day.
Dink and dunk type day. This is not an easy thing to say. All right.
Dink and dunk type day.
Dotson, Sanders, or Jacoby Myers? Who are you starting?
Do we know if catches count for anything? I don't even know if that matters that much, but that'll easily sway me toward Myers.
Yeah, I have Myers 4 spots ahead of Dotson. That's what I'd go with.
Can't stand Miles Sanders this week.
Pick 3 of this group here, and there are only 3 of them. So start them all.
Our job is done here.
How about ranking them? St. Brown, who's injured, Jonathan Taylor, who's not, and DJ Moore, who's about to play.
Moore's in. If St. Brown sounds like he's going to play, so let's put him ahead of DJ Moore, both of them ahead of Jonathan Taylor.
Okay, interesting. So, Jacob, who do you really like this week? Some of your guys.
Some of my guys this week. Go
to sportsline.com to see all this stuff.
For sure. Let me just pull up verse consensus because that kind of
I like that.
For me. Jordan Addison, I have at wide receiver 23. We already talked about him. That's 10 spots ahead of consensus. Romeo Doubs, I have at wide receiver 17, and his expert consensus ranking is 31. And I'm curious to hear your guys' opinion on him. He just has such a high target rate with Jordan Love at quarterback. It didn't change at all with Watson coming back. I looked specifically at the snaps that both receivers played because Watson did play limited role last week. And even when Watson was on the field, Dobbs still saw 29% of the targets during those snaps. Pretty good spot for him. Yeah, I don't know why people are so low on him.
All right. And when you say consensus, you're talking about the Dave Jamie Heath consensus?
I don't know. I don't have that up. So I've got Fantasy Pros expert consensus rankings, which pools like almost 200 different.
That's the real consensus.
And it just shows it to me right away.
I'm technically ahead of consensus on Dobbs too, but not nearly as much as Jacob is. I think he's their most consistent route runner, probably the steady guy in that offense, whereas Watson, more volatile. We know that he's a big play guy, and we know that he's a red zone guy. He was a red zone guy last week, and he barely played. But both of them, I think, have a shot to do well against Las Vegas.
All right. We can find some more throughout the show as things come up. Let's answer some questions. Would you go with Justin Fields or Tua?
Oh, that's easy for me, Tua.
Yep.
Jacob, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
How many quarterbacks do you feel real confident in starting this week?
I think 7 was the number. I do a Beyond the Box Score lineup advice piece for Sportsline every week, and I go through position by position. And I think my must start list was 7 guys, ending with Kirk Cousins.
Mine's 8. I literally have Justin Fields 9, and I think he could be a big bust. But there are just so many quarterbacks that, yeah, they got some upside, but they've got just low floors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad we're on the same page there.
Tight ends, would you stream Hayden Hurst, Logan Thomas, Jonnu Smith, or Luke Musgrave?
I'll let Jacob answer first, and then I'm going to follow up.
Logan Thomas is who I have the highest of that group.
I love what I'm seeing from Jonnu Smith. Mm-hmm. So he's moving better than Kyle Pitts. You know, Arthur Smith said this week that Pitts isn't 100%, and you can see it on film. He's lumbering, and he's out there, and he's running deeper routes. And Desmond Ridder just likes to get rid of the ball without, waiting too long or throwing too deep. And Jonnu Smith is getting open much sooner than Kyle Pitts, and Smith is playing a lot. His snaps, his targets, they're not too far behind Kyle Pitts. I've got Jonnu at 15th. I'm thinking about moving him up, Adam. I think he might end up being a decent streaming tight end this week. He's who I'd pick.
I actually have Jonnu right behind him. I like that. And the Texans, D'Amico Ryans, they keep everything in front of them with their zones. Yes. It's a lot of the same stuff we saw in San Francisco. Right. So that short passing game is probably the way to attack.
They're going to dink and dunk their way down the field. I don't know if you've heard that before.
Rank these quarterbacks: Sam Howell, Josh Dobbs, and Jared Goff for week 5.
Goff is the highest, although he could end up with a floor game here. If the touchdowns all go to Montgomery again, they're probably going to be playing with a lead, but there's just so much upside. The Lions are projected for almost 30 points. I really like the spot for both the next two guys. I have Howell ahead of Dobbs, but I like Dobbs a lot too.
I've got the same floor concerns for Howell as I do for Goff, but Goff at home, and I can't help but think that they're going to take maybe 2 or 3 shots if Jamison Williams is active. Try and get him going, and that Carolina defense just is not very good. So he's my favorite of the group. I'll take Dobbs ahead of Howell because I think Dobbs also has a floor to him, but a little bit more ceiling to him.
Oh, it was an interesting move there, Jacob. The regurgitating whatever that was into the cup.
It's a piece of ice. Sorry,
piece of ice. Okay, I understood. You don't want to swallow that. Mixon, ETN, Achane, and Kamara. Who are we sitting in this group?
I know who I'm sitting. I'm sitting Mixon.
Me too.
Really?
And I know he's playing Arizona, and that's not a scary matchup in the least. But the other guys, especially in full PPR, just have so much upside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, full PPR, I would go with Kamara over Mixon, but I have Mixon a decent ways ahead of him in half, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I get it.
How about Ramondre Stevenson? Would you start Stevenson over these 3 guys? Jalen Warren, Roshan Johnson, and Tajay Spears?
No, Jonathan. I know that Ramondre is not getting the job done. I think it's more about his offensive line and the offense in general in New England. I've got some great trivia. Let's see if you guys know the answer.
Wait. Are you sitting him for one of those guys? Or you?
No. I'm starting Stevenson over them all.
I think you said no.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to sit him for them.
All right, start Stevenson.
We're starting Stevenson. How many snaps inside the 5 have the New England Patriots run this year?
Wow.
You can count them on one hand.
Yikes.
Three.
Okay, Jacob, your guess?
5.
The answer is you can count them on one finger. It's one.
Wow.
One
No way.
tap inside the 5. Ramondre scored on it. The Steelers have twice as many, by the way.
Twice as many. Wow. All right, let's fire through some questions here. Raheem Mostert or James Cook?
Cook.
I agree.
Pick 2 in full PPR. Dotson, Downs, Mims. Oh, boy.
Mims would be the odd man out for me.
I'll say that Downs is the odd man out, but I like that you stashed him, Zachy.
D-Hop, Zay Flowers, Christian Watson. Pick 2. I'm sitting Flowers.
Hopkins would sit for me.
I'm definitely starting Hopkins. I think that this is the big week for him. I think they tried to make it last week for him. So I'm all about Hopkins. I believe I have Watson higher than Zay. In half PPR, I think I'd lean that way.
I mean, Zay does have a great matchup. Steelers have given up the 4th most fantasy points to wide receivers. Fields or Love? 4 points.
I choose
Fields.
Love.
Even in 4 point?
Even in 4 point.
From Hayden, give us a group of players you're starting over Jonathan Taylor this week.
Dude, I got a list of running backs, 25 names deep.
It's going to take a while. Yeah, the matchup is brutal, and we don't know what the role is going to be. So I'd like to avoid him and wait and see if I could.
All right. Would you start Jalen Warren over Jonathan Taylor?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, so I guess if he's playing, we don't know exactly what the role is going to be. He would be right behind Najee Harris, Gus Edwards, Khalil Herbert, and ahead of Warren, Tyler Algier, P. Ryan, McLaughlin, Chuba Hubbard, guys like that.
Yeah, I hate to say this. This is going to sound so weird, but if you're debating between Khalil Herbert and Jonathan Taylor, you've got to take the safe route. I mean, there's a chance Taylor doesn't even play.
You think so? I mean, he's practicing in full.
They did a walkthrough on Wednesday, so that's not a real practice. Thursday was a practice. That's great. Friday, he'll have another one. This dude hasn't played football since like December of last year, maybe even earlier than that. I don't have it in front of me. He hasn't practiced since December. And I don't see him having a big role. I know it's a tough matchup. I think you just got to give it a week. Think about how long it took Josh Jacobs to get right. When he was holding on, he had 2 weeks of practice.
He has not gotten right, by the way.
He's finding a way to put up numbers for fantasy, man.
Yeah, he had 8 catches last week. He's been arguably the worst running back in the NFL. He's been right down there, but he's not. You're right. It's the same point. He is not right. It's taken him a while. So, okay, I understand your caution. I traded Ayuk, Mostert, and James Cook for Eckler. Was that a great trade? No.
That's a lot. That's a lot for Eckler.
That wasn't a bad trade, but it wasn't.
It's too much for Eckler. You're very generous, Noah.
Yeah.
See, that's me giving Noah a compliment.
Yeah, it was a really.
And we're not getting many compliments here tonight on the stream. And that's what I'm hoping to see is some nice, heartfelt, sensitive compliments. Commenting compliments. Thank you very much.
I love this one. This is crazy.
Give Mostert, Thielen, and Atwell for Metcalf, Olave, and Stevenson. Oh my gosh, I think I'd much rather have the Metcalf, Olave, Stevenson.
You win,
of course. And thank you for the compliment, Andrew.
But I don't know that I'd rather have Stevenson than Mostert rest of season.
That's fair.
I'm wondering if Mostert's going to fall out a little bit and be the second guy.
All right, great job, guys.
There we go. But you're supposed to ask a question with it.
Maybe it was a question. Great
job, guys.
Pick 2, half PPR. Kamara, Pacheco, and Brian Robinson. Ooh.
Kamara sits for me. I really like what we've seen from Pacheco lately. The role and just avoiding tackles is a much higher rate.
I like it too, but if Kamara's going to keep catching passes, I got to give him the lean.
And what about Robinson? Are we keeping
a
Robinson?
must?
Yeah, he's the clear one of that group.
Fields or Stroud?
Fields.
Agreed.
Roshan or Miles Sanders? Do I dare play Roshan?
No. Unfortunately, last week kind of told us something about how the Bears view him. They don't view him like we view him because they're dumb.
They are big underdogs, so this game script could set up better for Roshan, but Washington is pretty tough defensively. I don't love this spot. And yeah, Miles Sanders is a bad matchup too, but he's just got so many
more
touches,
opportunities.
So many targets, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe they go out there, get a little inspiration from Dick Butkus, who passed away today. Dave, you're not a Bears fan anymore, but you grew up a Bears fan. Were you a big Dick Butkus guy?
Of course. I used to be a Bears fan, and at one point in my life, Mr. Butkus was available at a public autograph signing. And so I went and I took my young son with me and my wife, and we met Dick Butkus at the mall here in South Florida. Super nice guy. Spent a lot of extra time with my family. Loved having a little fun with my kid. He was, trying to box with him a little bit, but super nice and enjoyed life, and just a larger than life figure in Chicago as well. Somebody who the entire city loved and embraced. We love our sports heroes in Chicago. He's certainly one of them. And then everybody went on to love Dick Butkus because we saw him in entertainment. He was on TV shows. He was in movies. He was a Hollywood actor. He was a good guy, and I actually happened to have him as a Twitter follower. We're all going to miss Dick Butkus. He was a character. Rest in peace.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry to hear about the passing at age 80. But yeah, Dick Butkus, not someone I remember watching, unfortunately, but obviously anyone who knows
spend 15 minutes tomorrow morning watching his highlights.
He was in The Last Boy Scout, huh? I don't remember in The Last Boy Scout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was in all kinds of football movies.
Well, Thursday night is a great night for football, as we know. And apparently I'm supposed to ask you about your dinner.
Yeah, hopefully Thomas is ready for this. So this is a much lighter story than the Dick Butkus story. Getting ready to grill.
Yes.
My wife made burgers. The grill is on. I put the burgers on the grill. All of a sudden, my grill catches fire.
Hey.
Can't cook the burgers in the grill anymore. So
yeah,
you can see on the screen tonight I had baked burgers.
The toaster oven. See, I've never done it in the toaster oven.
It's a convection oven.
Uh-huh.
We can use it for more than just toast.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. But I use like the big oven, All right. So what did you think? Give us a review of your baked.
They were delicious. They were fine. I mean, the grill really is what they cooked quite a bit on the grill, but I had to finish them in the convection oven. Yeah,
that's actually a little bit of a trick. Is I've done that before too. Is starting them on I did it on the stove. Start them on the stove top and then put them in the oven, and then it tastes really good.
Okay, yeah, good and tender, and seasoned them nice. I was happy with it.
All right,
homemade guacamole on top. A feast at the Richard household.
Terrible dinner I had tonight. I don't even want to talk about it. All right, let's get to Adam's hair. Looks great. I like that. Let's sit a running back here. Achane, Najee, well, you're not. If you sit Achane for those guys,
you shouldn't even bother playing fantasy football.
Yeah. So who's sitting Najee?
Your season's over and you should never play again. You're sitting Miles Sanders.
I have 5 running backs ranked ahead of Achane this week.
Yeah, you should.
All right, Barkley, Olave, Garrett, or Brees.
We're sitting one. We don't know if Barkley's going to play, so that's the easy sit. Let's say Barkley plays. Oh boy. The receivers have to go. They have to play. They're going. I think I got to take Barkley over Brees, but I don't love it. Maybe Jacob can talk me out of it.
I was actually debating between the two Jets. I think that I would sit Brees, but they project pretty similarly depending on where you expect Brees' role to be in half PPR. So if you're really just want to get in on this is the week, this is the great matchup, he's finally going to be unleashed, and I don't want to miss out on it because I drafted him and I've been waiting on it. I think he sets up really well. Whereas Garrett Wilson it's a good spot for him, but they've clearly been more inviting to attack on the ground. It's funny. I mean, this is a really good list of guys, and I'm nervous about every single one of them. Barkley has just this terrible history of coming back from injury, and we don't even know if he's going to play. I'm sure, Dave, you watched every throw that Derek Carr made. I did this morning. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
Whatever it was. It was embarrassing. And Olave really suffered from it. And obviously the guy was hurt. I'm not trying to pick on Derek Carr, but he just couldn't do it downfield. And then
sounds personal, Adam.
Yeah, no, I'm a Carr guy.
I'm going to tell him.
Garrett Wilson, I don't think it's a tough match. I don't think I'd sit him. And then Brees, I said no pitch count, but do you go from 6 carries to 15 the next week? I don't know that that's happening. I know it's the start of the week, which is a good thing. So
we think it's a good thing.
If they're all playing, I think I'm going to sit Brees Hall.
You don't want to say it. I get it, but he does have probably the. I don't know if we could say he's got the highest ceiling in half PPR of these four.
Yeah. All right.
I do have a great stat on Brees Hall. I'll share it with you tomorrow on the podcast.
Oh, excellent. All right. Dell, Dotson, Addison, or roll the dice on Barkley. You probably want to go. Well, you don't start Dotson.
Correct. Yes.
And then what do you think, Addison or Barkley?
It'll either be Dell or Barkley for me. It'll probably be Barkley.
I would go with Addison of this group.
Yeah, it's one of Jacob's dudes. Pickens, Addison, Dell, and Christian Watson. Give me two.
Let me make sure that I've got Addison.
Addison and Watson for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have Dell and Addison back to back, and Dell is one spot higher. So for me, this is Watson and Dell.
Yeah, we take a look at the two wide receivers who have had more than 55 yards against Atlanta this year. Only two. Amon Brown and Christian Kirk.
Guys.
I've been avoiding them if we can, especially with perimeter guys. And that's where Dell primarily plays.
That's the thing. Dell is a perimeter guy. Yeah. He's not a slot guy. So
they can use him everywhere, but yes, he does spend the majority of his snaps.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. The Falcons defense has been pretty good. Dave said it, I think in week 1, he said he thought they were going to have a good defense. I was like, I don't think so. They've been pretty good.
They've been all right.
Would you
I don't know if they get after the quarterback too well, but they're all right.
Would you start DJ Moore over any of these guys? James Cook, Kyron Williams, Pollard, or Chase?
No.
I'd start him over Chase.
Wow.
Really?
Wow. Really?
Look at what's going on with Chase's quarterback.
Look at the last 2 games for Chase. I mean, he had 74 yards. That was the first 2 games were terrible, but I don't think T. Higgins is going to play it in practice today. I'm not sitting Jamar Chase for DJ Moore.
I think things are going to be a lot better for Cincinnati in this. It's like the perfect matchup. Arizona doesn't blitz at all, and that's been a huge problem for Burrow. Everybody's blitzing him, but they have blitzed at the lowest rate in the NFL, and the most they've blitzed in any game is 22%, which is almost the lowest rate in itself. They haven't been adjusting that at all. Regardless of matchup, they face rookie quarterbacks, they face Daniel Jones, and they just haven't been blitzing. It's a new defensive coordinator.
Just because they haven't done it doesn't mean they won't. And if that's what they think it takes for them to mess with Joe Burrow, they will do it.
Deep League PPR, choose Roshan Johnson, Kenneth Gainwell, Antonio Gibson.
Oh boy, this is deep. I think I'll take Gainwell.
Yeah, I think it's Gainwell for me.
Trevor Lawrence or Sam Howell?
Lawrence.
Agreed.
Kyron versus the Eagles or Christian Watson against the Raiders?
People aren't getting nervous about Kyron Williams now, are they? Cooper Kupp coming back, and now they're freaking out about Kyron Williams?
Well, you could obviously make a case that the targets are going to go down now. And the Eagles have had arguably the best run defense in football. They will not have Fletcher Cox, but they've, for what it's worth, been a lot better against running backs with him off the field than on the field this year. And last year, they were better with him off the field than on the field, slightly better. I don't know what to make of that. But, yeah, the Eagles' run defense has been unbelievable. Now, Kyron Williams has just had basically nothing but bad matchups. I mean, that's probably a little bit of an exaggeration. But he's faced San Francisco. He's faced Seattle. Seattle gives the fewest yards per carry to running backs. And he scored 17.4 points against them. He scored 2 touchdowns. Faced the Colts. 5th best in yards per carry allowed to running backs, and he scored 28 points against the Colts. So, Kyron's been a matchup killer, basically. But I can't start Christian Watson yet over Kyron. Right?
No,
it's too much.
And like we said with Jonathan Taylor, we'd like to think that Cooper Kupp will be back and his normal self, getting double-digit targets. We can't say for sure. And if he is, I think it actually hurts Nakua and Atwell considerably more than Kyron Williams. Higbee too.
We're going to find out. I can't wait to find. It's one of the things that I'm really looking forward to seeing here. We've got 200 likes and 1,300 viewers right now. We can do better than that. I'm not answering another question until we get to 300 likes. So this is when we find out what other people had for dinner. Dave, the brilliant man,
put up the pictures of the burgers again. That'll make people want to
Yeah.
like the video.
Yeah, exactly. Jacob, what'd you have? You're in your kitchen right now. What'd you have for dinner?
I was laughing when you got the burgers on the screen because I actually had veggie burgers today for dinner, and somebody literally in the commentary was like, "Jacob's the kind of guy to have a kale smoothie for dinner." And I was like, "You're not far off."
Are you a vegetarian?
I'm not a vegetarian, no.
Oh, okay.
Just had some veggie burgers laying around. Were they homemade or
saw-
you got them from the freezer?
Yeah, from the freezer.
All right. No
I
problem
also
with that.
saw Jacob is the kind of guy to donate anonymously to 2 charities. I don't know if it seems I could see that. Speaking of, we got 312.
He's a good person.
We'll be right back with the questions. But speaking of donating to charity, I finally got my Fantasy Football Today open shirt, which is part of St. Jude Fund. Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we got.
Don't forget who kind of came up with that design, by the way.
Yeah, it was me. Addison or Gallup? No, I guess it was Dave. I didn't know it was Dave, but if he wants to go ahead and take credit for it, we have a whole design team. But I guess
I'm more than just a pretty face on this podcast, Adam.
We're like Addison over Gallup, right?
We do, yes.
Yeah.
Jacob is the type of guy to enjoy a nice book on a Saturday.
That's a banger compliment.
Gainwell, P. Ryan, Spears, and then is that 2 different? Oh, I'm sorry, 1 running back and 1 flex. All right, what do you got there? What are you reading, Jacob, and who are you starting here?
I'm trying to read this question. It's kind of a lot.
one running back and then the best remaining player.
Okay.
I know who I'm saying, but Jacob's the type of guy to enjoy a nice book on a Saturday. He gets to answer the question.
You can answer it too.
Watson is the receiver, and I think Pirine over Gainwell, but let me double check.
It's close between those two. I wouldn't hate you if you took Pirine. Assuming Javante's out.
Javante practiced today.
Well, if Javante's back, then it's Gainwell, but otherwise Pirine.
Dave, you're the best. Great job designing those T-shirts. Pick 2 in non-PPR. Christian Kirk, Jahan Dotson, Christian Watson, and Michael Wilson.
Kirk and Watson for me. Mm-hmm. Jacob, did you get a chance to watch Michael Wilson?
I watched his targets, but I haven't looked beyond that. We're going to have Matthew Harmon on FFT Dynasty next week, and he's been looking into Michael Wilson. I'm really excited to talk to him about him.
He will love all the different routes that this guy ran. He'll love it.
Deep PPR league. Did that one. Sorry. All right.
How dare you?
Ooh, Dave and Adam are tied for the best. Ooh, come on. What about Jacob? That's not cool. DJ Moore or Nico Collins?
DJ.
Yeah, so I do have Nico ranked higher, but if you want to go with DJ, I'm totally fine with it. I think there's a lot more upside with DJ Moore in this spot than Nico Collins. I'm worried that Atlanta is going to be able to control the game on the ground against Houston and just suck the life out of this game, and it'll be a low volume game for the Texans. And then we've already talked about it's tough to push the ball downfield against Atlanta, especially to the perimeter receivers. So I think like the best case game for Nico is kind of unlikely, and whereas like DJ Moore, there's a big ceiling if him and Fields are able to connect here, and they'll likely be playing from behind and throwing a lot.
Washington struggled with the deep ball too. It's like the one thing about Justin Fields that makes me buy into him more than the other guys that have kind of meh appeal to them.
Yeah, if you're looking for a bye week sleeper running back, Tyler Algier has had 15 and 16 carries and their 2 wins. I still think he's their goal line guy. We haven't seen that in a little while. So look, it's not, some people are asking us, am I starting P. Ryan and Tajay Spears and Kenneth Gainwell and Antonio Gibson? You might get 14 or 15 carries out of Tyler Algier. Dave looks like he's about to barf. Adam has better hair than Travolta. Nice kitchen, Jacob. Komet or Goddard?
I'd go Goddard. It's been really weird out there. Goddard is ranked 37th, I think, out of 44 tight ends in PFF receiving grade. It's been bad, and his average depth target is really low, but I think this is maybe a bounce back spot for him.
We're going to say that every week for him. This could be it. This could be it.
This is really, one of these really zone heavy, soft defense. Like if there is a spot, it's this one.
Sure.
You guys are the best. Also, Adam is better than Dan. I agree. I'm benching Burrow. Should I start Love, Goff, Howell, or Garoppolo?
I would go with Love.
It would be Goff for me.
Brother Love.
Nico Collins, Cooper Kupp, or Terry McLaurin. Pick 2.
I still have Collins over McLaurin. I agree with what you said about how he could disappoint us this week, Jacob, but I'd still lean on Nico there.
I have McLaurin ahead of Collins. I don't currently have Cup ranked, but if we feel like he's going to play and there's no talk of a snap count, then Nico would be the one to sit of that group.
Achan or Brees Hall?
Devon.
Jahmyr Gibbs or Jordan Addison?
I would go Addison.
I'll agree with you.
Raheem Mostert, Jerry Jeudy, or Marquise Brown? Full PPR.
It's a little risky, Christian. I would take Marquise Brown.
Yeah, it's between Brown and Mostert. I actually think that Brown is the safer of those two.
Yep.
I'm a little bit worried about Mostert getting the rug pulled on him, especially if he fumbles.
Hit that
He hasn't
like
been playing near the goal line either.
Yeah.
Get us to
barely.
500 likes. We're at 356. Fields or Love Monday?
Fields.
Love.
Grade the trade. Give Mike Evans and Derrick Henry. Get Austin Eckler.
You overpaid for Eckler.
Yeah.
Or you stole Henry and Evans away.
I don't think it's such an overpay.
It
But-
is.
You know, what's interesting is that 2 of those guys are on a bye this week. But I guess it doesn't really matter. It's not like one of them already had their bye. Romeo Dobbs or Calvin Ridley, PPR?
That is a good question. I have Ridley higher. Most people wouldn't even think it's close, but I actually do think it's close. I have Ridley at wide receiver 14 and Dobbs at wide receiver 17.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Dobbs as you are, but I do think that it's closer than you think. I just think Ridley's upside. I still think he's got that upside.
For sure. This is going to be a really interesting test for Ridley because he's really, really struggled against press coverage, and the Bills press a ton. But obviously, they're
Yes.
missing Tre'Davious White, and so like it's a winnable matchup for him for sure. Like if he's the guy that they need him to be, this is the spot where he'll do it.
This whole game is going to come down to whether or not Trevor Lawrence has time to throw. And if he
I think
does,
this-
then the Jaguars have a chance.
Good trade. Miles Sanders and Michael Thomas for Brees Hall. That was a win. I
Oh
think-
my gosh, you ripped him off. Dan, you should be ashamed of yourself for taking advantage of people in your fantasy league.
Gibson or Roshan?
Oof.
One of these dudes.
It is Roshan for me by 3 spots. They're very close.
I mean, they both might score 5 fantasy points. I think Roshan's more fun.
Ramondre or Khalil Herbert?
Oh man, I have Ramondre ahead of him. I get it if you want to just ride the momentum and go with Herbert. I'm worried about game script with Chicago falling behind.
I'm going with Stevenson.
All right. Oh, you want your question answered, people? Hit the like button. When we get to 500, I will answer more. We're at 383. I know it takes about 30 seconds for 100 people to hit like, or 116 in this case. Now we're at 384. So hit that like button. We'll answer more. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you all of my picks against the spread in my pool with my friends called the Dan
Really?
Marino-
This is what we're going to hear?
Dan Marino's Town Tavern Picks Pool. Remember that place, Dave?
I remember Dan Marino's Town Tavern quite well.
We named a pick'em after it. I like the Bears +6. I like Buffalo -4.5. How many likes do we have? 411. Let's go. Let's get to 500. 422. I like
This
Houston
really works.
-1.5 or +1.5. I like Carolina +9.5. Tennessee +1. I think they're going to win that game. I like the Dolphins -10.5. The Giants always get blown out when they play great teams. 431 likes. All right, I'll tell you what, we'll get to 450 and I'll start reading some questions. New England, I like them as 1.5 point favorites over New Orleans. I think Baltimore, yeah, they're 3.5 point favorites. They're much better than Pittsburgh. I like the Eagles -4.5. I'm starting to doubt that one. All right, whatever. I'm not going to read it.
Who'd you take in Chiefs Vikings?
Chiefs Vikings. I took Minnesota +5.5.
I did as well. Jacob is going to beat us up for it, but
Yeah. Well, but Schaefer likes it. So,
That's
okay.
true.
We have just a few minutes.
but I don't know if Schaefer can beat us up. Well,
By the
you.
way, I'm tied for first place, I believe, in the Dan Marino's Town Tavern pool. Sit one, Olave, Puka, or DJ Moore.
More.
I think I'm sitting Puka Nakua.
Ooh, wow.
Khalil,
Well, here's what you'll do. You'll start Puka if Cup doesn't play. And if Cup plays, I don't know how you start.
then you're
Olave.
screwed because you have to
Olave.
make the decision tonight.
Well,
because-
more is a must. More is a must. And then Let's see if Cup plays. I think Puka takes a back seat.
Puka Nacua is having the greatest start in football history. I just don't know. I just feel like he's going to be really good. You know?
Yeah, I'd start Puka regardless of Cup.
He is doing like 3 things really well.
Catching, targets, and yards. And fantasy points.
They're kind of important things. He's running good routes against zone. He's either running a slant, an out, or a dig, really. It's about it.
Eagles play a ton of zone.
They do. But Cooper's back.
Herbert, Taylor, or Algier?
It would be Herbert unless you, if you really, really need to swing for upside, I think you could push JT up higher than Dave and I seem to be on him.
Already read that one. Let's see.
If he comes back and gets the full role that Zach Moss has been getting, Jonathan Taylor's going to smash. Like Indianapolis is playing super, super fast, putting up points. Like the setup is potentially huge for him if he's playing. We just don't know what the role is going to be.
Would you drop JSN for Samaje Perine?
Sounds like the grossest thing in the world. I wouldn't do it unless you needed a running back to start this week.
McLaurin, Dobbs, or Addison? Pick one.
It would be Dobbs for me. It's close. Those guys are all close. Like the spot for all 3 of them this week.
Addison would be last for me. McLaurin would probably be who I would take.
Adam, keep the beard. Oh, it gets too scratchy. I picked up Michael Wilson, but someone dropped Pickens. Should I drop Wilson for Pickens? Or should I drop Hopkins?
Definitely don't drop Hopkins. Drop Michael Wilson for George Pickens.
Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I will say Pickens has Baltimore this week and then a bye. So it's possible he'll be available in 2 weeks.
I traded Gibbs and Godwin for Swift. Do I win?
I don't love it.
I don't either. Do you kind of root for Jahmyr Gibbs
name bias?
because he's
yeah.
No relation, no. I root for him because he's awesome and I want to see him ball out.
Sure, for sure. But I kind of root for Anthony Richardson a little bit. I
traded,
know that Adam was a big Ryan Shazier fan.
I traded Jerome Ford and Khalil Herbert for Breece Hall and JSN.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm into that.
Adam, is that your burner account at Best Male Host?
Would you start Breece Hall over Tony Pollard?
No.
All right. We got to go, everybody. I got to get a second
time.
dinner. I had such a terrible dinner. I need to find another one.
Guess what I'm about to have, Adam?
What? Oh, your yogurt with sugar and chocolate. What?
What are you like my nutritionist all of a sudden?
If I were your nutritionist, you'd have a much different lifestyle. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah,
cheeseburger.
You're eating well over there with your 3-day-old sandwich.
It was a chicken with avocado and cheese.
Avocado's good. Was it brown?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that's why it wasn't good.
What's your unhealthy dessert?
Who, me?
Yeah, what are you having today?
It's frozen yogurt.
All right. Dave,
go ahead, judge me. Judge me for it.
This is what you can do. This is what you can do. This is what I do.
Okay.
I have plain non-fat Greek yogurt, and I throw in frozen strawberries and frozen blueberries and half a banana, and it is so good. Everything's organic, by the way.
Do you blend it?
Nope.
Like
you microwave the fruit, soften it up. You make your own yogurt fruit. It is so good. It doesn't have the added sugar. I'm going to do it tonight. It is freaking delicious.
We're going to end this stream, and I'm going to curse you out majorly.
Why?
Because that I mean, it sounds okay, but
it's delicious. It's strawberry.
Make a smoothie. Yogurt. Make a smoothie out of that. That would be good.
Maintenance there is with the smoothie thing that you have to hand wash all this crap.
You're the worst. So you're going to judge me for having yogurt, and you're lazy.
No, I'm not late. All right, we got to go, everybody.
I can't make a smoothie. It makes a mess. I've got a brand new house. I've got a nice kitchen like Jacob. I'm having some yogurt.
Okay. See you later, everybody. It's not microwave fruit. It's microwave frozen fruit. What am I supposed to do? Just eat it frozen? Come on now. I'm going to break my teeth. Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Actually, I'll talk to you after on Fantasy Football Today in 5. See ya.